and helping the 100 people now in our team who are using LifeWave daily and their families. Big thank you. Love the products.
And I have energy through the roof.
I sleep better. I have so much more energy.
Throughout the day, I can focus better. I can concentrate in my work.
Our church worship service lasts 45 minutes. For the last 2 years, I've not been able to stand that long. 2.5 weeks into wearing the X39 patch, the pastor said, "You can now be seated." It dawned on me at that moment that, my goodness, I've been standing this whole time, didn't realize it.
After starting using the technology for approximately 2 weeks, my pain completely disappeared.
32 years of pain gone in 3 days.
I just love the products. They just help me to feel younger and younger year after year.
Thank God for X39.
My skin becomes younger, softer, firmer.
It's been really amazing.
I love X39 because it really helped reduce the inflammation in my knee. I can now run again. Woohoo!
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday evening Testimonial Tuesday call. I am your co-host, Robin Blank-Mascari, and we get together on Tuesday evenings to share your stories, to hear about the amazing results people are getting with this technology. And we have a special practitioner that comes on every week. And tonight we're blessed with Dr. Henriette Albun. And we'll introduce her in a few minutes. And then we have an opportunity for you to ask questions. So once Dr. Henriette is speaking, that's when you might want to put your questions in the chat. Wait till then because I don't want to miss them. And if you have questions, get them in sooner versus later so we can make sure we get to them. So the guidelines for this evening. And I want to make a special welcome to all of our guests, because a lot of times people are coming to this call as their very first introduction to LifeWave. And as you're going to find out, it's a very special company and community and technology that is changing people's lives all over the world. So you might want to take notes. There might be some interesting things. And for those of you that are going to share stories this evening, I want you to raise your hands and I'll call on you in order of your raised hand. And the guidelines are to keep it brief, like a minute or less, share what it was like before, what kind of limitations you had, which patch you used, and now what you're feeling like. And so be brief and be compliant and be done. We don't claim to heal, cure, diagnose, or treat any diseases. We are a natural products company. So symptoms only when you're sharing your stories and when you're asking your questions. If questions have a disease name in them, I won't ask it. So there you go. I think I covered all the bases. So now it's time to raise your hands and we'll start sharing stories. And just a little bit about stories. They truly are the lifeblood, not just of our business, but of inspiring people to hear what's going on with other people, because then people get inspired to want to share with other people. And this is a business about caring and sharing. And we're here to help other people improve the quality of their life and enhance it through this brilliant, historic, life-changing technology called LifeWave. So I'm looking for hands up for stories. And when I don't see hands up right away, then I call on people that know I'm going to call on them or don't know. We call on our leaders and some of our brand partners that we know have been around for a while, and they usually have great stories. And the first name I came across was Angela Shaughnessy. Would you like to unmute? Because you have so many stories that are so wonderful. Could be, you pick what you'd like to share, and then others, then start raising your hands, everyone, and we'll start hearing your stories in the first part of our call. So Angela, are you up for sharing?
Sure, Robin, I'm up for that.
Thank you, my dear.
Yes. Well, one of my favorite stories that I tell every once in a while was a complete surprise to me. And it was something I just had on my list that I just was really wishing my toenails weren't gross. So I had some issues with my toenails. I later found out it was probably some sort of fungal thing. I didn't know. I just knew I kept them covered. I didn't want anyone to see them. I didn't want anyone to know they were icky. So I just kept toenail polish on. And after about 6 to 9 months of wearing the X39 patches, I had to take my toenail polish off to change it. I would just clip my nails with the polish on, or I would file them. So this is how I didn't know what was going on. And I took the nail polish off and I looked at my toes. I'm like, well, they're normal. So I don't know when it exactly happened, but it was one of those things that was on my wish list. I didn't know if it could ever be fixed. And voila, they were all better.
That is something that sounds like a little thing, but for a lot of people, it's a really big thing. Because look at that, you were covering up your feet, and
Yes.
and now you don't have to unless you want to. And it's fun to wear toenail polish, but you don't have to. And congratulations on that one. I know you've had some great results with your hair too, haven't you?
Yes, I actually had so much hair. I was pulling it. I would spend more time in the shower pulling it off my hands because it was falling out so drastically and it had gotten so thin. I had to get my hair cut up really short and do some different things to style it. And it is just thick and so long now. That was one of the first things that happened too. So
I love
that was
it.
a pretty big deal because we women kind of, do this. We don't want anyone to know we're losing our hair. And so for it to come back was a big deal.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being willing, my dear.
You're welcome.
So now we'll go to Sunshower Rose. It's your turn.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I have some stories that folks that have been around have heard, so I'm going to try and say something a little different tonight. I can follow up on what Angela just said. And as you can see, my hair is getting pretty long here. And for the longest time in my lifetime, it just wouldn't grow. The back would, but my sides would not. So not only is it growing more and is a little thicker, it's darker, especially underneath, you can see. And then recently, I was seeing these little tufts of hair come out here. But now look, they're more like, let's see which side is which. Now they're more like the length of bangs. Maybe. It's like, wait, there's more hair coming in still.
That's so fun.
And then kind of along the line of hair and fur, my kitty cat, who's now 13, when I first got her a couple of years ago, her pouch would almost drag to the floor. And she apparently never was exercised. And so I have put the X39 under her little bed. So it comes through, it's about that thick of a bed, and the X39 off of my neck at the end of the day, and I put it under her bed, and guess what? Her pouch isn't like that anymore. If anything, it's this way, and she just acts like a kitten, 13 years old.
I love it. It's so fun to help our furry friends and our four-leggeds, and they're not always four-legged. They're all kinds of things, birds and turtles and dogs and cats and horses. It helps them all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it is very fun when the hair changes. I love it. I love it. Okay. So Patricia Bernard, you are next, my dear.
Okay, I'm going to unmute, but I can't do the video right now because I'm walking through the house.
Okay, that's okay. We're glad to have you.
Oh, well, thank you. I have my picture on Zoom, but it doesn't show up on my end. Does it show up on yours?
Not yet.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
That's okay.
But anyway, a couple of things. I started with the patches in the fourth quarter of 21. And I did it to help my knees. Well, they didn't help my knees that much. But it was healing other things in my body that I didn't know needed to be addressed. I'll put it that way. How about that? So here we go. Here it is, 2023. And the other day, I was actually able to walk without any pain in one knee. Now, I didn't get to walk very far or very long, but just the fact that I got to walk at all was it just, I stopped and thought, wait a minute, I actually stepped down a step. So it snuck up on me.
That's fabulous. And thank you for sharing that, Patricia. And it reminds me to remind everyone, when you're just getting started, you want to start filling out the health tracker, because
Right.
sometimes when things get better, we forgot we had them. And it's like, oh, it's no big deal walking up and down the stairs, but it used to be a very big deal walking up and down the stairs, and we forget.
Absolutely.
We forget. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so glad you're having experience in your knees. It is wonderful. Thank you,
Yes.
Patricia. Okay, and now we're going down to Mexico. Hola, Senora. Karen O'Neill, would you like to share?
Hola.
Hola.
Hola. Yes, I would. Can you hear me okay? I'm not sure how my internet is.
Yes.
Hopefully it's good. Okay, so I'm living in Mexico. There's a lot of sunshine here, you guys. Lots and lots and lots. And I've had so many experiences with X39. It'll be 5 years at the end of February since I started using them, the patches. But one of my favorite things, especially now that I live in Mexico, is that I don't burn like I used to. I used to could burn to a crisp in a half an hour. And now I can go hours. And I've been out in the sun sometimes as long as 6 or 7 hours and got maybe a slight burn on my face. It's gone in a day or two. I mean, it's just slight, but I'm gonna try not to stay out that long, but just not getting that sun damage is pretty cool. And that is one of the things that David has talked about with X9, and we don't mention it very often, but it's nice because I don't have a car, I walk everywhere, and I'm out in the sun a lot. And literally I've had 2 slight sunburns in a year here when I'm here, and very light. And that one time I was 5 hours, and it must have been a stronger sun day, and the other one was almost 7 hours. I was on a beach with no protection anywhere. And anyway, so I just wanted to say that because a lot of people don't realize that. So pay attention to how you can safely stay out in the sun now.
Oh, thank you for that. And there's so many dimensions of the wonderful benefits. And that's what I love about these stories, because there's some people I know that, they have to have their hats and their bodies need to be covered up, and they burn so quickly and easily. And the fact that you can be in Mexico and enjoy being outside and walk everywhere and not have to worry about suffering from a sunburn. That's beautiful.
Yes, I didn't even get sunburned on an 8-hour sailing trip one time.
Wow.
And I was on quite a bit that day. Not the whole 8 hours. I had some time of shade.
Okay. Well,
but I didn't get burned at all. So anyway, that's just something to be aware of.
Absolutely. It's good to know. And I think we all know people that are fair-haired. I should probably invite my son to wear the patches regularly, because he's got that redheaded complexion, fair and freckled, and he burns, and he loves to be outside. So yeah.
That's why we do this. It makes you think, oh, someone needs to do it. That's why we have this, isn't it?
Thank you so much, my dear. Okay, Christina, you have your hand up. Do you want to go next?
Sure.
Hi.
Hello. I wanted to tell you guys about a couple of people that we have been working with. One of our brand partners, her eyes were like drooping, and she has actually an appointment to get them surgically opened back up. And she's been on patches, I'd say maybe a month or so, and her eyes are wide open.
Isn't that amazing? We have saved a lot of people from surgical procedures. Although we're not supposed to say that, but yeah, it has happened. Yes.
I was gonna tell you, she also has a little mark right here that the skin doctor was gonna take off. And she said, look at it. It's really light. It's hardly even there now.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And so when you first get started, really good to take a picture of your face in good lighting and any scars that you have in good lighting, because over time, you'll probably see some really fascinating changes. Was that it? Or did you? Okay.
I can tell you another one.
Sure. We'll go for one more.
Okay, so this other little gal, she's a PC, and she had same kind of thing. Her eye was really drooping from something that had happened to her that we don't talk about.
Good job.
But
Good
it like makes the side of your body, you know, numb or whatever. You can't work it. Well, that happened. Her eyes like really closed, and she put a carnosine on, and the next morning it was open.
Whoa, from one day.
Yeah.
Wow, with carnosine. Isn't that exciting? Well, thank you so much for sharing. That's wonderful. And it's just so fun to visit with your friends and have them share these great stories of what is going on. Okay, so I think it's time, unless there's anyone else. Oh, look who's here. I love that. She's on the screen. I get to introduce you. All right. So this evening we are blessed with the presence of Dr. Henriette Albun. She's been a naturopath for over 25 years, and her practice is quite wonderful because she really supports people in doing the deeper healing. Many times there's things that are caught in our cells, some old experiences and things that, you know, create blockages and can turn into, you know, dis-ease states and, you know, things that don't work so well. And so she works with people to help restore their total health in natural ways. And there was something else I wanted to read that you had her, you know, our memories deeply held in our cells and tissues as energy blockages can lead to physical manifestations. As such, I work with tools that allow my clients to directly connect with themselves to release their past fears, traumas, and other interferences with the successful and peaceful life they wish for. How beautiful is that? I love it. So we are blessed to have you this evening, Dr. Henriette. How are you?
I'm great, thank you, and seriously happy to be here. And before I forget, can I do a shout out to the main team? I had such a blast with Anne and her team and Donna and Tommy at the convention. It was just really terrific. And it was great to see everyone off camera, you know, it was wonderful.
Yeah, we left Hollywood Squares and got to be in each other's, and I got to get a hug from you.
I got to get a hug from you.
I love it. I love
And
it.
Gregory. Yeah, that was really sweet. That was nice.
You know, we call this a relationship business, and it really is the best part because we get to, you know, connect with amazing people, and we get to be in a room of, there were 3,000 of us that were joyfully, exuberantly, healthily alive, you know, and that is a rare situation to be around so many healthy people in one room, isn't it?
It was amazing, you know, when you had your tag on, everybody smiled at each other spontaneously, saw the tag, started talking, just really had a good time, whether it was at the bar or at the pool in between, and certainly during the sessions. There's
beautiful.
Yeah, that's good. It's really good.
Okay, so let's jump in a little bit. As a doctor, I know you get exposed to a lot of products, especially as a naturopath, because you're always looking for those natural solutions. What is it that got you really interested and, you know, really wanting to explore LifeWave technology further and then share it with some of your patients and clients?
It's really very simple. You know that already. You read this little paragraph about, and thank you for that lovely introduction. When you work with energy and you work with feelings and you work with frequencies and vibrational aspects of the body and the different resonances, it made so much sense to me, and that these little patches should have the kind of effect they did. And I was totally excited about the technology. I mean, really was. And even now that we are calling LifeWave a technology company, it makes so much sense, because energy healing, especially as the vibrations and the frequencies and all these issues we're dealing with on the planet right now, as this has sped up so much, we really need to work with energy, because the physical, mechanical stuff is almost obsolete. And so for me, that was it, you know. Put the patch on, have the effect, body knows what to do, heals itself, basta, done. It's so simple. right? It's just simple.
Love it. And you know,
Yeah.
it's so true that we are actually moving into an era where energy medicine is not just more and more popular, it's more and more effective.
Yeah.
As our vibrations heighten, you know, those vibrational, you know, techniques are extraordinarily effective for people. And it's kind of hard to believe that they work so well,
Yeah.
but they do.
And it has been long in coming, hasn't it? I mean, those of us who, our generation, it's the next logical step.
It is. It is. It is. So when you're working with your patients and you're introducing the LifeWave technology, what do you share with them on how to get the maximum benefit of utilizing this technology?
Well, there is the hydration piece, right? There is regularity. There is patience. Don't think because something doesn't work in the first 30 days that it's not working at all. I was just at a show locally here, and a woman came by and said, "Oh, I tried this; it didn't work." My my question was, "How long?" She says, "2 months." I said, "That you didn't try it at all." You know? So she didn't want to hear that. The point is that no matter how long something has been bugging you, the body knows how to heal. So with
Good.
good hydration, regularity of application, patience. You know, some things in holistic health, we said the body heals from the outside in and from the top down. This is roughly basically saying that which bothered you the most recently, or is most new, starts balancing sooner. And there is no specific rule. The body's just wise and knows how to do it.
Well, thank you so much for that. And that's something, you know, we live in this fast-paced culture and people want instant gratification. And I've actually shared with people what a lot of people are sharing these days, you know, give it a month for every decade you are old. And then I will not even let someone buy it if they're not willing to commit to a minimum of 3 months.
That is what I
Yeah. Yeah.
do. Actually, I do.
Uh-oh. I'm frozen. Is Henrietta frozen or me?
Am I not?
Henrietta.
Henrietta's frozen?
Here comes the Ethernet. That should not be happening again.
Okay. Okay.
Good.
Well, you know, it's so important. And we know that as soon as the patches are 3 inches from our body, they're doing their work. It may not be what we wanted, but they are working. And so, you know, being patient, and I love the way you said, be patient, you know, and that's where the health tracker is so valuable. Do you get people started on the health tracker when you get them started?
I do sometimes, but because since it's ongoing work, I find my field is bigger, so I actually use different parameters just to see.
Okay.
And I'm always surprised. I know
Uh-oh.
that, but I don't know how long, and I don't know their response.
Great, great. Thank you. So consistency, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, hydration. You know, I play a game with myself. I have glasses everywhere and water bottles everywhere, you know, and we want to be more of, you know, when you explain to people how much hydration and how to drink, what do you say to them? Because it is something that is so simple, but it can make a profound difference for them.
So I would differentiate seasonally, Robin. I would basically say, you know, it's very hot outside. Yeah, you absolutely do need more water. Definitely at that point, how much you want is depending on how thirsty you are. Not everybody has the same desire. So technically, it's half your body weight in water ounces. And we're not talking tea or juice, it's water. The winter or the fall and winter are a little bit different, but it depends. If you live in a climate that is very cold and dry, definitely applies what is going on in the summer. It's not so much that you feel thirsty because you're hot, but your body and your skin are dry. So hydrating is a really good thing. Like in the summer, we eat much more fruit, which is water, right? It's organic water. And for those who eat a lot of raw vegetables, that's also organic water. But if you look at a watermelon, for example, eating that thing takes care of lots of water needs. So, you know, you have to gauge how it feels. And how often do you actually go to the bathroom to pee?
Okay, so hydration is key because the frequency goes through your body's electrical system and it needs to be hydrated. Otherwise, the signal isn't going to move very well. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes, we're electrical beings who waters the conductivity, just to make it simple. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then when people say, well, how long will it take for me to notice something? We started to talk about this. How do you set people up with, the expectations that make sense for you?
If not everyone is ready to start with X39, people who have been challenged health-wise, I sometimes start them on Aeon. So it depends where they're at. And what I say to everyone, don't rush it, be consistent, drink your water, put it on every day, 12 hours on, 12 hours off, like you said, and then let's see what happens.
Beautiful,
I
beautiful.
had an older lady who only has a landline. She doesn't do email. And she came and she says, my daughter, I really had good results. How can I sign up? How can you sign me up? So this is, and I'm going, my jaw was almost, because you don't really get that. But people who've really seen and the effect on others want some of it. So do your own experience, feel what it feels like.
Yeah, that's why the stories are so, so, so important. And then finally, is there anyone who should not be utilizing this technology?
I don't know all the circumstances people get involved with before they use or not use the, but basically no. Really,
It's
basically
safe.
no. It is safe. The only change would be if it's, be attentive and maybe take them off after 6 hours, depending on the case of the person. I had a woman who was got the shots, and the patches promoted so much healing that she had to reduce the way she wore it for 2 to 4 hours. And of course, it made it much longer. You could use the same patch for a couple of days, so that was good.
Beautiful, beautiful. So be patient. There it is again. Be patient, and it is working all the time.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for some questions?
Sure.
All right. Let me kind of go into where the chat is, and let's see what we got going on here. Okay, we've got a bunch of things going on here. Let's see. Let me go back to the early stages here. There's a lot going on here. Okay, I have a question. This is from Nancy. I have a question about patching using multiple different patches and times to wear them. Is this the right call to ask such questions? Yes, it is, Nancy. So if you have a specific question, and we might want to just throw this out. So Dr. Henriette, is it okay to wear more than one patch? And do you wear them at day or night, or what do you share with people?
I do X39, X49, C7, the X39, belly button, X49. And then when I know I have a tough day, like both of these days at the show where you stand a lot, and you're on all the time and you talk a lot, I have used energy enhancer. When I'm standing or doing things like that, I also use carnosine. So I may use the energy enhancer on the bottom of my feet, or actually right L1, lung 1 acupuncture point. Glutathione, if I have a sore spot someplace, just to have that a little shored up, and Aeon, anti-inflammatory. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
about
it's
6 or
fine to
7
wear.
patches.
It's fine to wear several patches, but when someone's brand new, do you have them use just X39 to start if their health is generally well?
Yes, absolutely, because the argument that I always bring for that is really in keeping with the science. The body knows how to heal itself. Using the X39, you give the body carte blanche to actually heal, right? And to organize it in that way. So then if you do X39 for 1 month, 3 months, and then add other patches, that is actually a good way to go. And in the beginning, I don't rush anyone.
Beautiful.
It's,
So yeah.
It's a relationship business, right? So you take care of each other. It's not like how much can I sell you? That's really not what we do.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I used X39 for 90 days before I even started trying anything else. And when we have more stem cells, everything works better, which is great. Okay.
I actually had,
Uh-oh.
I had this is Nancy.
Oh, okay, Nancy. Did you want to ask? No, we lost you, Nancy. Okay, why don't you write your question in the chat, okay? And we have a Zoom user that asked, what kind of patch do you use for the eyes?
Carnosine. Depending what it is, you may want to use Aeon in the middle and Carnosine on. So what we all, all of us try new things, different things, right? And then some of them making into the annals of every week or every other week. We want to make sure that everybody knows this is another way to use it. So the Carnosine, if you can, I can't. I mean, I can't wear a mask going to sleep. But if you don't want to wear a mask, you put it right on the side on your temple. Otherwise, put it right on the eye part of the mask. If you can, and not one of these, it's one of these. It's a sleeping mask. so that the signal goes definitely right into the eye where it is left to heal the body. So
we have many wonderful stories about eyes with
Yeah.
Carnosine and always X39, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can put Carnosine at night too, which is easy.
Yes, very easy. Let's see if I can. Coach Clarissa told me to continue on the patch. I don't have to go through this. Coach Clarissa is saying, I'm supposed to have a cut on my head. My amazing doctor who told me to continue on the patch said that I don't have to go through with surgery anymore. And that's pretty darn exciting. Okay, Kathy, I have a customer who has lost her hearing due to an infection in her middle ear. She used to have vertigo prior to the middle ear infection. Is there something that I can recommend to her that where people have been successful with the patches?
Well, being that stem cells will renew just about everything and balance a lot of the different issues that come up in life, I would start with X39. I really would. And then, yeah.
And we've heard incredible stories with just X39 because it's so comprehensive. It does so many things.
Yeah.
So many things. So Linda is asking, how do you patch an abdominal tumor in painful knees and back?
Wow. Well, again, X39 you start with because that's the short up power that the body needs. These are different issues. Personally, I would do castor oil packs on the gut, right? A whole abdominal piece, because that castor oil has shown to break up tumors. And then the back, I would go into, since we can't really be told exactly what is going on, I would definitely use Ice Wave and also Energy Enhancer for the microcirculation, because if there's a blockage in the lower back or if it's a spinal blockage, then that I would go to. And then finally Aeon for wherever there is supposed to be an inflammation.
Right. And there are, do you want to talk about the total body pain points for Ice Wave?
What do you mean the total body pain points?
There's points on the body. If you have pain in more than one place,
Mm-hmm.
you can put the patches on kidney 1 on the bottom of your feet, and that will address several different points.
Yeah, in essence, many of the points that have the dual patches are showing up. L1 is another one if you have trouble with asthma or your breathing or so.
Okay.
But I would actually say to that also, Robin, that anywhere where you have something central and you use patches that are dual, like the Ice Wave and the Energy Enhancer, you can always put an Aeon in the middle and keep the X39 on the back, and then basically do the patches energy enhancer or ice wave on either side.
Magic happens when we do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, at the show, I patched someone with ice wave who had knee surgery, and the tendon on the side was very sore. He had not been out of pain for years, and he was.
Love it. Love,
Yeah,
love, love, love,
I
love
mean,
it.
it's tremendous. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, Rose, good morning. So Rose must be somewhere else in the world other than our time zones. Good morning. How can we help someone with a crease in her earlobe? Since she is having a spin in her chest. I don't quite understand. Do you know what she's talking about? A
Maybe
crease
I
in
don't
her.
want to guess and then give an answer that doesn't apply.
Right. Right. We're
Good
not.
morning. In her heart.
Go ahead, Rose.
A pain in. Good morning. A pain in her heart. Sometimes his chest, her chest is in pain, and someone told him that if you have the crease in your earlobe, you might have a problem from your heart.
Okay, so that's the visual diagnostic tools that have been very popular, coming
Yes.
from Asia, in fact. And if that is true, I have also a problem with my heart. Essentially, what I noticed in my work is it's mostly as people get older, they often have the creases in the earlobe. And, sometimes I have two. My heart is just perfect and is fine. So I don't know if I would go just with that kind of suggestion. Yeah. X39,
So
carnosine.
X39 and typically carnosine or
Yeah.
X49 for the hurt. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, Ravel, dear Dr. Henrietta, any placement you'd suggest for the carnosine patch in addition to X39, which she's worn for 2 months, for a high fluid pressure on the eye and gradual loss of vision, as well as cloudy area in the lens, which can occur with increased age. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I like blood and what it does. So would it, no, I mean, it's our fluids, right? Would it be helpful if there was an eye mask? And, sometimes it takes a lot longer than other times for things to work with, because eye pressure and all of that is also lifestyle. It is liver health. It is, what exactly was going on before that. So there's a degradation. It's not like something just comes on us. I would use energy enhancer on the temples. I would use carnosine in front on the eye mask, and in between there's a, thank you for the question. I would put glutathione right here. So you can do all of these at night, and during the day you have X39, and yeah, I would start there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, this next one is from Luis, and he's asking which organs are first directly affected when a person experiences grief? And are there any patches that you would recommend to help someone with grief?
Yeah, definitely the lungs is what's affected. Crying is a good release, but it also increases and swells the mucous membranes. I would also use carnosine, maybe on the sternum. Right? Because grief is heart, active grief is lungs. Right? And lungs and large intestine go together in Chinese medicine. So it depends a little what else is going on. Is it grief over having lost someone, something? Is it something we are losing in ourselves? Is it aging? There's so many ways.
So if it's a loss of a loved one, so would you put the which patch would you put on a lung one for grief? Which patches?
Well, the lung one for grief is energy enhancer. That's generally what we have. However, it's about microcirculation I would definitely use Aeon because of the grief, the nervous system, right? And then what else do we have? You know, a la vida. A la vida is so lovely at night. Put it someplace where you're sad because it's the frontal lobes, it's the hypothalamus, it is the brain. So maybe there is a soothing effect there as well, in addition to the other studies that show there is some help with thyroid and kidneys. And is it the water household when we are so sad? I don't know. It depends who the person is.
That's really beautiful because we've not ever talked about that one before, but the lungs are associated with grief. So giving extra support with lung one and the Alavida. Where do you want the Alavida?
On the sternum. No, the
On the
AR on the
sternum.
sternum.
On
And
the
the
sternum, right.
Alavida, go intuitive. I mean, the patches will work on anywhere in your body. So go intuitive, and of course, it makes sense if there is like heartache. It's not just lung pain, it's heartache. It
Yeah.
hurts, physically hurts to lose someone.
Yeah,
So,
beautiful. Thank
or
you.
something.
I think that's going to be helpful for a lot of people because we all experience loss and grief in our life
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. And to know that there's a way to support it because the patches work emotionally as well as physically, don't they?
They do.
Okay, Eva, I had a client today who was suffering from a dizziness and a ringing in the ears to the point of vomiting. Have you had any experience or protocol with dealing with this combination?
Well, this is a territory that none of us like to deal with, right? But it's very realistic, and it has happened to too many people. I have several people who are in that situation for whom the X39 is too much. It is a strong activator, right? And it signals, and if the sensitivity from the effects is so intense, so Aeon, I would start with Aeon and see what that does. Don't use the glutathione just yet, which is a detoxifier and an antioxidant. And I would probably also use carnosine right here above the ear.
Uh-huh. And where would you place the Eon?
The Aeon could go, yeah, on the head too, probably.
Okay,
I mean, if we're
great.
looking, that's where the effects are.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And try it out. Some people actually have really good results with the Aeon on the belly. It's your body, so experiment.
Thank you for saying that because I remember when I got started, Dr. Nicholas said to me, trust your instincts.
Yes, please do.
And move things around. If you're not getting the results, try something else. You can't hurt yourself, which is so beautiful.
And there is actually
Okay.
a suggestion that when you come to a patch that has multiple application points, that you just try one after another and see where it felt the best.
Yep, there you
Also
go.
something to be said, and I have to say, I'm sorry, I have to say this, Robin.
Go
So
for
many
it.
people, they're not aware of what their bodies are saying to them. So many people, and I don't want to single them out, but men more than women, because we have all these things internally going on. What do you mean? Where in my body do I feel that? Tune in, everybody, tune in, and then you get the answers. Your body has the smarts.
So let me ask you a question about that because I think that is really, really important for people. When you say tune in, if someone doesn't know what that means, and they aren't body aware, how would you invite them to become or begin the process of tuning in more to their body? What would they do? How would they do that?
Well, first of all, just in terms of knowing energy, you can start here. Take your hands and just keep them a little closer to each other. Then feel the tension that develops. It's almost like there's a slight air cushion between, right? And so as you get closer and farther apart, practice what you feel. Okay, so that's one piece. The other one is if you concentrate on your body, so don't go to the head because it's going to be yakking and thinking. So it will. Take a nice deep breath and presence and the path that the breath takes when you go in through your nose, down into your abdomen, and exhale through your mouth. Do that for a few minutes. And if that does not also work, then put your hands on your heart and put a little pressure here and try to breathe into your heart. So yes, you are using your imagination. Oh my goodness, isn't that fantastic? So we're using our imagination and thinking, and so trust it. You're not going to be an expert in 5 seconds. You're going to practice it. However, one day you will say, oh, I just felt that. And that is also the access to your emotional body is through the body.
It's so beautiful. And that's not something we get taught, you know? That's
Oh,
this
no.
we have a doctor like you, you know? And
Yeah.
and it's so powerful to just pay attention because our bodies are always speaking to us, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
We got to develop our listening a little bit more. Yes. Okay. Francine says, thank you so much for that. That was really helpful. I have a customer who's had ringing in the ears for about 2 years, and it seems to be getting louder. She's been using X39 for a year. She's tried Eon behind the ear at night, once a week. She wants to know if she should try wearing them both at the same time. Should she try carnosine, or what else do you recommend?
That ringing in the earpiece is a nervous system disturbance. So we got Aeon for that, which is fantastic. X39 is an activator. See what happens when you don't wear it for a few days. I'm not saying that it makes the ringing in the ears worse. That wouldn't happen. The Aeon would be my choice. Also here, I would also use glutathione, and then I don't know. Something is saying the carnosine on the back of the neck.
Great.
Yeah,
carnosine is kind of like the unsung hero. It does so much, and it doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, for all that it does.
It's amazing.
It is totally amazing. So we're going to take just a few more. Oh my goodness. Ravel put the link for the health tracker. Thank you, Ravel. She's always there in service to everyone. So for those of you that haven't gotten the health tracker yet, and you're just getting started, please use that link and share it with all of your new people so they can get a baseline before they start, and then start, it gives you some things to pay attention to that you might not even realize can happen. Okay, Christina. One of our brand partners, Lily, and her husband couldn't open his hand and had a lot of inflammation. He started using Eon and X39 and is now able to open his hand and feels way better. But when he went to get a blood test, the blood test looked like he had more inflammation than before.
Healing crisis.
Ah.
Yeah, so the body in its attempt to get rid of the offending component can take time. It can also come in intervals. So to me, when things get first worse then better, and there is not more pain or more, well, sometimes there could be more pain. I mean, the Herxheimer effect, which is the guy who first coined it, right? It's a healing response. It's nothing more fancy. It's just that it can happen. You get flu-like symptoms, some diarrhea, whatever. But in the blood itself, the blood changes all the time. And I know this because I used to do dark field microscopy. So the piece here is that you can change the blood within minutes. And so at that very moment, when the blood was taken, it presented as what we just heard. And it is a remnant of the healing response. So I would go with that until you hear otherwise.
Yeah. And
it's not
one
being
moment in
cavalier.
time.
Yeah. And I'm not being cavalier about it. It really is so individual.
No, it's true. It's true. And a lot of people, they take that one moment in time and give it all this credit when it's a temporary condition, really.
And so often we can't underestimate that, whether we're in patches or not. The body continuously heals itself, given the chance to not have to deal with food, drink all the time. So we're all going through it.
Right. Okay, I think we're going to finish up with Michelle. She says, I have a PC with a history of daily severe headaches. He started using X39 and glutathione every other day on October 31st. He experienced mild improvement in concentration. On Saturday, 4 days in, he had a bad headache and fatigue. Same thing on Sunday. He removed the patches and had minimal improvement. He skipped a day, and today he used the patches for less time. He is staying hydrated, and his body weight, half his body weight in ounces. What else would you recommend for him?
What first came to mind when I listened to it is A La Vida at night.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the head, because of the brain, and what it actually can do for the brain. So, by the way, I just posted this article we had from Life Extension. Remember the one on carnosine? I just posted the link here because it's so incredibly fantastic. This silly little amino acid, such an effect. Anyway, I'm not making it less. I would use
Beautiful.
A La Vida because we don't use A La Vida consciously for this. It has, if any of you are interested in A La Vida, it is such a generous offer. The whole package with 2 sleeves and the day and a night cream. By the way, what was shared earlier on today about, was it Priscilla? No, I forget who it was, who is in Mexico. Lovely, you look
Karen.
great.
Karen O'Neill. Uh-huh.
Karen O'Neill, that's it. Sorry about that. And the night cream of the A La Vida is actually what has a substance in it that prevents the sun from burning our skin. And I have tried this all summer long. I worked outside a lot, and I just had this rosy glow, It's great.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because when we've been on trips with David in tropical places, they have gifted us the nighttime Aloe Vera cream to support our skin with the sun.
That's
So
where I got the information from. You.
yeah, he's shared it with us many times. Well, Dr. Henrietta, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's wonderful to be with you always. I'm so glad we got to meet in person. We didn't have a lot of time to spend together, but we'll have more in the future. And I want to thank everyone for taking the time out this evening to be with us. It's been wonderful having you. Thank you all who shared stories. They make a huge difference for everyone to hear your stories so they can share with other people. And if you are a guest this evening and you're just checking us out, our invitation is to get started. There is no risk to try the patches. They come with a 30-day risk-free guarantee. If you're a customer, it's just for yourself. We have a wonderful customer program. And if you're someone who likes to share, then check out our brand partner program, because the company is a generous compensation to reward people for sharing. So I want to thank you all for being with us this evening. Thank you, Gregory, in the background for tech support. The unsung hero here. He doesn't show up, but he's always here. So thank you. It takes a team to do all of this, and we really appreciate all of you being with us this evening. So we'll say good night, and you can unmute and say thank you if you'd like.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Henrietta.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Henrietta.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Hasta la vista.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Awesome.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Great.